to be able to share your story on a moment's notice. And you're sitting there and you're looking at the menu and all of a sudden you hear this thing come by your ear. People join Toastmasters not because Toastmasters is cool, but because they like the people and they like the environment and they like the program.
One of the big mistakes you can make is trying to sell Toastmasters. People don't join Toastmasters. They join a club that promises to improve their skills and build their confidence. As a past Toastmaster campaign so succinctly put it, sell the sizzle, not the steak. You don't even have to mention Toastmasters by name. Invite people to come to your event and enjoy themselves to see how they can build confidence and improve their skills. To give us some ideas on how to sell the sizzle, please help me welcome past District 32 Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Mike Marion.
Thank you, Roxanne. Well read. And I knew that Kyle was going right before me and that I was going to be dovetailing with his presentation. Because he already mentioned doing open houses. I suggest you remove the word open house from your vocabulary. Everyone now? No more open house. No more open house. Also, by the way, my notes are on the page that says, Event Planning, Sell the Sizzle, right in front of you. Most of you have already found it without me coaxing you. I always like to hand out notes, especially if they're my notes, but for a presentation because I've been in too many presentations where I spent so much time taking notes that I missed half of it. So all of my ideas are there. You may wish to add some of your own. In fact, I'm going to force you to do that here in a few minutes. And you're going, I have to take notes? Is there anybody who doesn't have a writing implement? You do not? Would you like one? Roxanne's going to get you one. Because I want you to come out of this my presentation with some specific idea for your club. As Roxanne mentioned, sell the sizzle. In Toastmasters, the steak is pathways, club meetings. But what's the sizzle? Building your confidence. Becoming a leader. That's what sells Toastmasters, not the word Toastmasters. Most people who you mention the word Toastmasters to, even if they've never been to a club meeting, they have some preconceived notion for what Toastmasters is.
The wrong one.
And it's wrong, yeah. You can tell from the laughter that these people have encountered those people before. Toastmasters and club meetings and pathways is just strictly the delivery system we use to deliver the sizzle. How many of you have ever been in a Mexican restaurant? Anybody? You know, sit-down type restaurant? And you're sitting there and you're looking at the menu and all of a sudden you hear this thing come by your ear. And you go, oh, that smells good. What is that? Has that ever happened to you? That was probably fajitas, right? But you didn't care what it was. You just care how good it looked and how good it smelled and how good it sounded. See, people don't care that it's Toastmasters. People want the results of the Toastmasters program. That's confidence and leadership. So I have 3 questions for you. Who will you target? Where do you market? As in market as in store, not M-A-R-K-I-T. And how do you engage them when you're marketing? So, question number 1. Who do you target? As Kyle said, pick a niche, pick a market, pick an audience. Because that way you can know who's going to be in your audience when your event goes on. And I want every one of you to take out your writing implement down now and write down next to that question or that statement, pick one audience per event. Pick an audience. I don't care if it's leprechauns. Write something down that would work for your club, you think. If you're prolific and you have more than one idea, write them all down. Just don't market to all of them at the same time. Now, sometimes you can get a small group of audiences that need similar things. Like customer service at a store and customer service on a phone, you might be able to get them to be more confident in front of customers. That would give you a slightly larger audience to draw from. But go home with an idea for your club. And when you get to the next executive committee meeting, how many of you have heard of an executive committee meeting? That's where all the 7 officers meet and anybody else who wants to show up. It sounds really highfalutin, right? Executive committee. It's the 7 officers. I'm not going to embarrass anybody by asking you who hasn't had an executive committee meeting this year already. I'm not going to embarrass you by doing that because you just embarrassed yourself in your own mind. Here we are 6 weeks into February, into the year, and you should have had an executive committee meeting somewhere. Oh, by the way, notice how Kyle's marketing plan spanned the whole year?
Half of that's over.
Half of that's over. That doesn't mean you can't have some kind of plan for the second half of the year. Or, heaven forbid, you do a marketing plan that's more than through June 30th. You will have officers in your club. Commit them to something. Hopefully some of those officers they might switch positions, but they'll still be on the executive committee and they'll know that this is supposed to happen. Make it a calendar year, a marketing plan. It doesn't matter. Make a plan. Cliche time. Failing to plan is planning to fail. That's correct. If you have no targets, you will never hit them.
You'll hit them every time.
No, because there are none. You can't possibly hit something that ain't there. Trust me, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Oh, sorry, that's just a joke that goes. Everyone can benefit from Pathways and the Toastmasters education experience. Everyone. But everyone might not be ready. So be willing to plant seeds. I retired last year from World Vision, where I've been an employee for 11 years and a Toastmaster for 9 years. And I had invited a friend of mine that I work with, who's a second-level manager type, to a Toastmasters meeting, and I've been inviting him for 2 years. I mean, not every week, but off and on for 2 years. And then one day, he surprised me and showed up at the meeting. And I just went, And I was the Toastmaster. Leon, Marshall. So I had to get with him afterwards and go, hey, what did you think? By the way, the whole idea about a secret shopper is fabulous. Remember the secret shopper? Bring your friend in and say, I couldn't do this. I couldn't walk into any Toastmasters club and pretend I was a guest. Impossible. But I know some people who have no ideas what Toastmasters do, and I can invite them and tell, what do you think of our club? We're trying to evaluate what we offer to our clientele. And remember, what are you selling? You are not selling Toastmasters. Grr. Everybody turn your page over. You see this, correct? This is a sample flyer. The date is the actual date we did it 2 years ago, over 2 years ago. Now, to save a few shekels for the district and the division, I didn't print it in color, but wouldn't you say that some color adds something to that flyer, even if it's only one color? I was out of yellow ink. That's supposed to be orange and red. But for this presentation, I didn't want to make 40 copies at 59 cents a copy. I made 40 copies at 12 cents a copy. You're welcome, Roxanne. All right, who can find the first mention of Toastmasters?
In the middle of the page right here.
Good News Toastmasters, the name of the club.
Hosted by. You see that? Hosted by. In fact, I would have nowadays made that even a smaller font and put it way at the bottom. This event hosted by Good News Toastmaster Group.
How effective was this in getting new members? Because you don't talk about anything that Toastmasters does for them. It's just on LinkedIn. prizes.
Yes, because that's what is. In fact, what I was going to get to eventually is that when I mentioned get the phrase open house out of your mind, everything is a special event. And that special event is geared not toward your members, if possible, but geared toward people who might be interested in the Toastmasters benefits, building confidence and becoming a leader, thinking quickly on their feet. People might have to go on a job interview soon. So isn't table topics great for interviewees? I've even heard of table topics where they asked interview type questions of people who come up. Now that's not embarrassing, is it? Have you heard, I can't remember what the HR people call it now, but they don't ask you about your skills anymore. They ask you, if this happened on the job, how would you handle it? Or how did you handle it when it happened to you previously? And it's like, what? Am I right?
Is this the actual flyer?
Huh?
Is this the actual flyer?
That's the actual flyer we
There's a
used.
mistake in it.
Oh, crap.
2017 at the top and 2018 at the bottom.
Yes. Isn't that special?
Thank you, Mr. Editor.
Proof positive that even past district directors are not perfect. And now that my wife's here, I can't say that, and my wife will attest to that. Inconsistency. What's the important thing? There's a chili contest. We get 10 chilies every year, sometimes a little less. And there's two things we do. We invite some senior management to come and be our celebrity judges, and we have a people's choice where everybody drops a vote in the box. Which one do you want, 1 through 10? While they're there, we do a mini meeting, if you will, a speech, an evaluation, some table topics, so they see what's going on, and then we invite them to our next meeting next Tuesday. You might think of it as a bait and switch program. And yet we get some people that show up every year who have no intention of joining Toastmasters, but they enter a chili every year because they like the event.
But even when, we also make a point to invite past members, especially past presidents. We occasionally get people who rejoin because their life has changed in the meantime. But more importantly, they can see that the club is still there, it's still healthy, and find out what it's doing, the new Pathways program, and they can recommend it to others.
Yep. There are evangelists for Toastmasters out there. They're called past members because they all got something if they stayed at any time at all. Stayed in at any time at all. Invite all of those members that haven't been recently with a gold-encrusted invitation if you have to. Brenda was president when? 2012?
The year before me, so 2009.
2009. Just rejoin the club. You just never know who you're going to touch, do you? Do you? Where it is, when it is. There are prizes. That's in red on the color version. We offer $25 gift cards because we have club dues, we can afford that. In the past, we've even asked for local area markets to donate a $25 gift card. And of course, then they get free advertising on all of our advertising, our marketing. There's lots of ways to do that that don't cost money. But where do you market this event? Company intranets and websites, which jogs in my mind. Remember what Kyle said about the club websites? Who should the club website be geared to?
The guest.
The guest, the potential visitor / new member, because that's where they're going to go to look for you. Your members already know where your website is. Send them to a different page for all of the good stuff for that. How many of you think that you need to go change your website now, your homepage? Community bulletin boards and websites all over the place. Stores, any company. Fred Meyer, Walmart, they all have these little corkboard things. Usually they're near the restrooms, I'm sad to say, but you can put them up there. Rayanne?
You can ask about employee break rooms too.
Exactly.
I've seen managers that are happy to take your flyer and post them there.
You never put up a flyer until you have approval to put up the flyer in that particular spot. At World Vision, we're only allowed to put them on certain corkboards, not all over the building, just the ones in between the restrooms. So where it goes. Although we can also put it on the hallway doors if we have permission beforehand. If we do it without asking, we'll lose the privilege. Never put up marketing in a place where you're not sure. So if you want to put up a thing on the community bulletin board at Fred Meyer, that's probably okay, but if you think you want to put it up somewhere else, you better talk to the store manager.
Oh, you mean the one like over there?
Yeah, like that corkboard right there. But even so, even in a church, I would ask somebody, the secretary or the pastor, are you okay with us putting up this flyer about people building their speaking confidence in speaking and leadership?
Matthew belongs here.
So we would appoint him to go check that out, right? Social media, I'm not going to get into all that. I forgot to mention LinkedIn. Kyle mentioned all of those, and there are some that Kyle mentioned that it's like, oh, do I even know what that is? But again, find somebody who's already using that medium to post it, who already has an existing presence. If you create a new account for it, not sure how many hits you're going to get on the searches. I'm surprised Kyle didn't offer the services for media releases of our past public relation managers. She happens to be in the room, right, Cheryl? She writes some fabulous press releases, has examples to send to you. And if you would like to ask her a question, send me an email and I'll forward it on to her. I don't want to give out her email address without her permission. Never do that, by the way. Personal invites. Now, if you're having a special event, inviting everybody from your group and your boss and everything, and that's fine. But if you're going to invite somebody to come to a regular meeting, how many people should you invite at the same time? One. And then you stop by their desk and pick them up. Not pick them up, but walk with them to the meeting or drive the car to their front door. Because you want to have them know somebody in the meeting, and that should be you. People join Toastmasters not because Toastmasters is cool, but because they like the people and they like the environment and they like the program. Have you ever done something at work or in a church or somewhere and somebody, wow, you were really good at that. How come? Ding, 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 ding. I'm a member of a club that helps me build my confidence in front of a group of people, even when I misspeak. Who's that? Why don't you come with me Tuesday night? I'll show you. Don't say Toastmasters if you don't want to. Remember, Toastmasters is nothing more than the delivery vehicle. It's like, I bought from Amazon. No, you didn't. Amazon doesn't produce products. They just deliver them. Think about it. All of those products are made by somebody else, somewhere else. Amazon was just the vehicle and the website you used to get there. Think of Toastmasters the same way. How do you engage people? As I said, remove the phrase open house from your brain. It's a special event. And I don't care what the event other than the Toastmasters activity is. It could be a guest speaker. And if it's a guest speaker, make sure that there's a topic there that would apply to the people you're trying to market to in that particular event. For example, let me see if I can get this to come up now. La, 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 la. This is an event I invented about 5 years ago. I lie. I didn't actually invent it. I heard somebody else did it, so I'm just paying it forward. I'm going to get the light. Bring your boss to lunch day. Bring your boss to lunch day. Thank the bosses, because the bosses are paying the dues for all these members from World Vision. So my original concept was bring your boss. Ulterior motive. Boss sees what employee is doing, sees skills employee is acquiring, then what maybe? They send more employees over. And don't just invite your immediate supervisor type manager boss. You invite his or her boss and as far up as you can get a hold of somebody in email and not get in trouble in the corporate hierarchy. Rayanne?
I invited Chief Batiste to speak a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and much to my shock and complete dismay, he accepted.
Oh, wow.
And it was a great event. A whole bunch of people came specifically because he was speaking.
5 years ago, I arranged to have World Vision receive the sponsor award from Toastmasters International. It was our 20th year in existence. This is our 25th. International Director Margaret Page came by and awarded it at our chapel in front of 500 employees to our CEO. And then our CEO stood up and did a 5-minute testimonial for how cool Toastmasters is and all the skills you get that I didn't even know was coming. I was almost in tears. It was scary. Remember, your event is not about you and your club. Who's your event about?
Yes.
Your audience. Who do you want to bring in? Huh?
Something similar if you don't have a corporate club.
Aha!
available.
Well, you can invite the boss. Well, see, ours is special because the bosses were paying the dues and we get a free room every week. Find something else. Give an award to somebody in the community. Invite the whole community. Doesn't matter what the award is. Start one. The 4th annual Federal Way Person of the Week. I don't know. Somebody who did something great in the community. Policeman. First responders, sorry. First responder gives you a bigger audience. Then you go to the first responders and say, who do you think should get the award? Let them pick who gets it. You just pay the $50 to get a trophy or whatever. Then you have an event. Now you're going to get it for free in all the papers, before and after. I just made that up. That was pretty good, huh?
Yes.
Start an award. I like that. Anybody else got an idea for an award you could offer? Somebody coming home from the military, if you're somewhere near JBLM? Welcome back, Cotter, or whoever it is coming back. And then you get their family in there, buy them dinner someplace, and have an award. Have a reason to have your special event. Just don't call it an open house. Please. Okay, we talked about flyers. Oh, chili bowl. We have a chili bowl every year. We have a chili cook-off. In the past, we've had pie events on 3/14. It's not funny. 3.14. That's when we hold. Yeah.
I chuckle because you're addressing the local community in the room.
Yeah. We are now partners with a Rotary group. International. Find your local Rotary chapter.
What we did was, in one of our groups, we celebrated our anniversary of the club
Mhm.
when it started.
Mm-hmm.
And every year we
Have an anniversary banquet or event. Invite somebody special to speak on a topic that's related important for the audience. Or have your awardee speak about after you glorify them with your praise and prose.
And if you can't come up with any, there's all kinds that are made for us. Smedley,
Yeah.
Toastmasters Week, all those wonderful.
If you're going to use anything that is Toastmaster trademark, like, make sure you check with corporate headquarters before you start handing out awards with those names.
No, I mean, I just mean reasons to have an event.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of ready-made reasons out there.
Correct. You need to be able to share your story on a moment's notice. What is your story? You have 2 seconds to tell somebody what you get out of Toastmasters. 2 sentences, sorry. What would you say?
I'm able to speak to my clients confidently, and also able to answer any questions.
That's not terrible. My customer service is better. Marcy?
So at Ease, we did a table topics program all on the elevator speech.
Yep, we've done that at our club too. Have somebody do a table topics, and when they call up the people, You now have 1 to 2 minutes. You just met somebody in the elevator. They don't know you from Adam or Eve. And they said, I've had this happen at World Vision. You're one of them Toastmaster people, right? Or take your table topics winner ribbon, put it up in your cubicle if you have a workstation or whatever. What's that for? It's elevator speech time. That's what that is. That proves that I've improved my extemporaneous speaking. Whatever that means. Remember to, if you're speaking about yourself, speak about what you've gotten out of the program. But if you're speaking to someone else about trying to get them to come, you need to find out what it is they need. I mean, you don't have to get angry about it. What's your job? Oh, I got to sit on the phone and answer calls all day long with these angry. Hey, would you like to be more comfortable talking to angry people? Find it. Because once you turn the focus on them, on whoever it is, him or her, you now have a chance. As long as you're talking about yourself, it's a good opening, but you want to turn the conversation around to them. And when you're marketing, you have to think that way. I'm going to put something on the bulletin board that says, come to Toastmasters Open. They didn't even get to house. Build your confidence. Be a better leader. Become a leader. Walk and chew gum at the same time. Whatever it is you're selling, that's what you put at the top. Not mattresses, but a good night's sleep. Remember, you could even be selling networking. Any of you know, especially in the community clubs, any of you know entrepreneurs in there, small business owners that are in part of your club, that are part of your club? What do? They want to do? They want to connect with more people in the community. Well, I got 15 of them right here. Right here. Sometimes if you're talking to a store manager, like a Fred Meyer or something, one of my favorite techniques is, so I want to put this flyer up, and it's about building your confidence in front of people and being a better leader. Do you have any like clerks that want to train up into management or something? Oh yeah, I got about 5 of them. Well, have them show up next Tuesday night at 6 o'clock at wherever the heck your meeting is, and we can work with them. Or, if you ever see somebody working on a presentation, come practice it in front of our club. You don't even have to be a member. We will sit there and listen and give you positive feedback. Do you know how much that's worth? And we're giving it away? How many of you have ever seen a bad presentation?
Oh, yeah.
Did you walk up and say something? And I don't mean, boy, that sucked. I mean, I got a couple ideas I think could help. Make sure you have a couple before you say that. You wrote them down. Always be taking notes, yes.
We had one person who she was in a pageant as a young fair, and she wanted to be in our group for a while, so she learned how to speak at her pageant.
Exactly.
So she joined. She came to see what we were all about, and then she joined for several months. And then once she came in,
Yeah, but she won. Then she left.
then she left.
Who cares? Do you know what kind of good PR that is? Because she's going to tell next year's candidates that she likes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she came in second place at the fair.
No, it was a national.
National.
Yeah. So, plant those seeds. Sherry.
We have the same thing in our club. We have a gal who is running for Miss Washington.
Ooh.
And in our last meeting of the month, this month, she is bringing 5 other competitors, and we're doing a question and answer with all of these people.
Wow. Be willing to plant seeds for free. Since we're in we're in a Masonic lodge, but I probably get away with making a biblical reference, you know. We are asked to plant seeds, not to reap. We are asked to sow. The reaping? True story. Kyle and I are going to mid-year training 2 Januaries ago, might have been 3. We get in a shuttle bus from the airport, and this woman, it's like 10 o'clock at night on Thursday. The lady driving is, so what are you in town for? Oh, we're going to, we're going to go get some training for this group that helps us build our confidence in public speaking and dealing with the people at large. Oh, really? I might be interested in that. Whipped out my card. I personally have not heard from her, but I'll bet you she's contacted some Toastmasters clubs in Phoenix. You never know. And if nothing ever came from that, what have I invested? A business card? I can afford that, Rayanne.
I got good kudos from a couple of folks in Olympia because somebody showed up in our meeting and then discovered that the time didn't work for them. And the club that they ended up at called me and said, "Are you in Olympus?" "Yeah, why?" "Well, I got your name here. You're going to our club. Thank you."
It's always good to know some of the nearby clubs. And if you don't, you can always refer them to who?
Website.
Yeah, that's
Division director.
or area director. They know the clubs in the area. If they don't, they're in trouble. Yes, Matt.
Right. I mean, I had a good friend who we were roommates
Uh-huh.
when I was in Hawaii. We first started out doing Toastmasters, and he was from Taiwan, and we talked about things. He ended up joining, and he's actually a member in his home country now.
There you go.
Yeah.
We have 2 people at our World Vision Club now that are not English speakers first. Those people many people in that situation would die to have a place where they could go and practice their English and not worry about flubbing. There's a niche market for you. There's a Russian church here. And there's a Korean church here. And they might like to practice their English. Maybe we should invite them to a meeting and see if any of them would like to join. Heck, they may want to start their own club after a while. There are bilingual clubs all over the world, as you might imagine. And finally, make sure you have a guest book or something for them to sign in on so you can contact them when? Tomorrow morning, if not that night. I can't tell you how many contacts have been lost over the years at our club because we didn't respond in time. Then we couldn't find the list and all that. It's enough to make you sick, Rayanne.
One that works sometimes, we all have our cell phones now. We can take that information and input it into our cell phone or take a picture of it.
Yep.
Or whatever, and that way it's right there in your pocket.
And who's in charge of that?
You are.
VP membership.
Well, the VP membership might be leading the charge, but he or she is not the only person that should be.
Or if they
Following
want
up.
to give the information to you, you can give your information to them.
That's right. It's exactly. It's like, well, if I text you from my phone, you'd have my number so you can contact me if you have any questions. Is that all right? What's your number?
We have a regular guest book.
Yes.
Come in, we sign the book.
For $10, you can buy a nice black, silver-crested Toastmasters guest book, and it asks for their name, I think address, phone number, and email address or something like that. Follow up fast. Other questions? Thank you for all of your input.